Good afternoon, patrons, and welcome to this edition of Playing the Blues in My Own Way. Obviously, the blues is a black American music, and I've been playing the blues since I was 7 years old, just because I love that music. On my Muralbach record, actually, the last track is me playing a blues at 7 years old, and you can hear the sound of the magpies because I used to play and they would sing along and accompany me. But yeah, Aidan, one of the patrons here, asked me to do a similar video to what I did with the rhythm changes, but talking about playing the blues. And so what I thought I'd do is play some blues again, have the camera over my hand so you can see exactly what I'm doing, what my left hand would do when I'm playing, accompanying myself, and what sort of voicings I'll use in the blues, what sort of chords I like to play, what sort of changes. There's so many ways to play the blues, and there's so many different types of changes you can use. I'm going to attach a whole pile of changes to this post. And I would suggest playing the blues in every key again. I'll also attach all the play-alongs to play along with the blues in all the keys, minor blues or whatever. But again, playing the blues is really just expressing yourself and sort of, transmuting feelings in the present moment as you hear them. So what I'm going to be showing you is, some of the things that I are drawn to after all these years of playing the blues, and playing the blues with people like Gary Bartz and Fred Wesley, which to me, yes, it's a black music that I'm playing, but I'm very grateful to have been called by those guys to play around the world and play this music, which is so sacred. And what an incredible form the blues is. What an incredible musical form, and very much a place to express yourself in your own way. So let's have a look at some of the building blocks towards expressing yourself in your own way. We'll talk about a blues in F, and the changes I like to play are F, B flat, play C minor, F to the B flat. Might go down. G7 with a flat 9. And then I'll put B flat over C. Turn around. So let's talk about that. Why is this note sticking? Fuck! So I was playing F, and when I'm playing just by myself here, I've got the left hand. Back to the F. 2-5-1 to the 4 chord. I'm in the 4 chord. You could go up to Diminished here. Down from the F, so I do E flat. Changes that I generally like to use to play the blues. What about this? I'm going to try to do this thing without using that note. If we look at different approaches to playing the blues, like what can you play over the blues? I mean, obviously everyone's going to say the blues scale, which to me is pretty corny. But what I do like is, well, in the key of F, I like to play the F minor pentatonic. That is a vibe, and that's groovy. And maybe we can throw in the major third. And so... and maybe occasionally this blue note, this sharp 4. But if I play a blues right now, I can play the whole thing and get a lot of value out of it just playing F minor pentatonic. Let's check it out. See what I mean? And if we have this other third in here, I think that's a good place to start playing around the keys and just playing F minor, just playing the minor pentatonic of whatever blues you're in, and maybe the major third. A lot of times I hear people playing the blues and they play all these other notes. Now it really doesn't sound that good to me. You can venture forth from that F minor pentatonic. And that's what I reckon, that's the sweet spot to me. And you look at Ray Charles, you often see him playing the F minor pentatonic, but in sort of fourths and thirds. He often does... and that to me is very funky. And Ray Charles is such a beautiful blues piano player. He's such a beautiful piano player generally. There's a record that you can find by Steve Toure and Ray Charles, and it's just blueses. And Ray's not singing on it. He's just playing the blues. And you can learn a lot right in there about blues playing. I'll try to put a link to it if I can find it. So yeah, I would say try to play some blues in different keys and just use the minor pentatonic for now with the major third. And just don't do it as an exercise, but limit yourself to that set of notes and see what sort of music you can make from it. So that would be one tip. Okay, the other thing is, what chords do I play in my left hand when I'm playing right hand myself? Let's have a look at that. I've got this 13 here. That's my B flat. I might put that in, maybe not. And see the economy of movement. We have... and then we have not too much movement from that F13 chord. I might do that little half step, and then I might do that to get to the F, and then to get to the B flat. G minor on this, the last turnaround. But I also like the 7 flat 9. And then maybe C11. Or you put that B flat 7 over C. That would be... so I'll play a little bit. about that walk-up turnaround. There's a number of different turnarounds you can do. The one I did there is this. So we've got F, A half diminished vibe with the third in it, B flat, D flat over B, and then F over C, the five in the bass. Then 6, 2, 5. So I often do that. And I got that from a record called Alone with the Blues by the great Ray Bryant. And I'll put a link to that in there too. And there's all these beautiful blues in there, solo piano blues. One of the ones he plays is... turnaround. I took that turnaround and I just played it through all the keys and really got familiar with it. As Gary Bartz points out, if you have to think, you don't know it. So keep practicing these things around all the keys until you don't have to think, so that they just come out in every key. Let's look at it one more turnaround in the key of F. So I've got F, go down a tone in the left hand, then diminished, but I drop these fingers. So I do, the way I think about it is, I've got F, then I go down a tone, and then I drop these middle fingers and the bottom one as well, and the bass. The middle fingers and the bass. Again. It's like an old school New Orleans 5 chord. I love that. So we say... That's like Ray Charles. I mean, there's so much beautiful blues approach in Ray Charles piano. I would highly recommend just making a playlist for yourself of just Ray playing the blues. I'll try to make one because I really learned so much from Ray, and he has an extra funk in it that I could play the notes he plays, but I will never sound like him. Yeah, so that's another turnaround. Then there's, you know, you could say, so that's the same principle where you've got this vibe, and then you drop these notes and the thumb. Going to that 4 chord, I said I like to do C minor to F to the B flat, but sometimes I'll do C minor to F, and then I'll quickly throw in an F sharp minor, B7 to B flat. So I do a kind of tritone thing of the C to F, and it sounds like this again. So we got the blues. I'm playing F sharp minor. Yeah, so I do that. That's kind of some stuff you can kind of throw in there. You know, there's also so many ways to do it. You know, like putting the sus chord. I like that sound. So that's like making it A flat major 7 over B flat for the 4 chord. And the same thing. D7. Stuff with the fourths, you know, and you can just experiment. If you can work out what I just did, you can have it. No, I mean, it's really just using the F minor pentatonic and sort of moving things in fourths, like it's not fourths, it's fourths and thirds. So that's a beautiful sound. That's a really nice sound. And as I said, I like to use F minor pentatonic over the whole of an F7 blues, so that fourthy third thing can work for the whole thing. You know, you like. Played those 4 things through all the keys for many months, I can go in and out of using them as I hear it. You know, at first I'll just be sort of dumping it on there because I was practicing it or whatever, but after a while it just becomes another color on my palette. So yeah, let's think about what I would do if I was comping behind someone else in an F blues. Let's look at that. So look at that. So what I'm doing there is coming from C minor Dorian on some level. We got. We've talked about that in another lesson. So I'm kind of doing that when I'm comping in an F blues, which is a kind of a nice sound. And I'm also doing the thing that I've spoken about in that Dorian lesson, where I keep the top note the same and I move all the other notes up and down. So on the B flat, I'm playing the F minor Dorian. But not so, you know, whatever. Okay, so I'll just comp a bit more and see some other things. seems to be that it's a lot of the Dorian shapes. So when I was teaching the Dorian stuff, I was saying how much it starts to open up into other things. So if you really get comfortable playing all those Dorian fourths in all the keys, then your blues comping can have this color as well quite easily as you hear it. And you can go in and out of those Dorian shapes and then just other triadic things for your comping. It's kind of a nice sound. I'll show you what I mean. Here's like playing some Dorian fourths and some other triads. So that's like mixing up this sound, which is one of the voicings that I've showed you before. B flat and then C7 and moving that around. So that's Dorian and those sort of shapes. And then this 6, the D7, you can use the upper structure triads, dominant triads. That's like this sound. And I move that around because I've taken that voicing through all the keys, right? So I just... like saying the 2-5 would be G minor to C and putting in this drop position stuff. Okay. And I'm going to play a little bit more now, and maybe what I'll do is slow it down, and you can just cop whatever you like from there. I'm just going to play freely, okay? So then what I did is I played a line over the B7 sharp 11. So I was in F, right? Now I can play. So what I did there is I was just outlining this B7 sharp 11. That's how I was thinking about it. It could also be considered the F7 sharp 9. Whatever it is, it's a half step movement. It's a movement to resolve to that B flat, and so I'm kind of exploiting it. And I don't really even need to play the B in my left hand if I don't want to. So one thing that's kind of interesting playing the blues, or playing any changes really, is making these half step motions present in your line, but not in the left hand. You can in the left hand, doesn't really matter. But it's like this, you're kind of got this little world that resolves nicely into the B flat. And then again, like we've talked about in the past, if you then abstract that B7 a little bit further and do its 2, which is the F sharp minor to the B, and you kind of just sort of play around with those sounds, and that's your sort of pathway home, then you can really get into some interesting superimposed galaxies on the planet that you're given, which is in this case the blues. So that's the planet that you're given, and you can sort of add a little clown to it by redistributing the wealth. Let's keep going. So we'll go from that B flat. I'm kind of playing F minor pentatonic here,
Maybe I'll play a little bit of the E minor. I can do that. So then I'm like, I've got this 4th E shape, and I'm moving the 2 bottom notes up, which gives me a kind of B shape, and I could play over the B. Why? Just because the shape's there, and it's kind of a half step from something, and it works. So if we say, down again on that B7 sharp 11. Yeah. So there's some colors and yeah. Let me play a little more and see what comes. I've got a post there where you can put any questions you have about this post or anything you like. I'll be very happy to explain things in more detail. Sometimes I'm not sure if I'm being clear, so I want it to be super clear, and let me know. If anyone has any other new ideas for a post, please put them in the questions thread. What would this look like? Put some Harry Potter shit in there. Isn't that a beautiful rattle? We found that on St. Kilda Beach. God knows what sort of ritual was occurring, but Terence McKenna would have dug this. Also, I painted a Day of the Dead gnome because I found this gnome in the hard rubbish, and I was like, I should bring it back to life. Brenda painted this. Pretty nice, huh? I also play a little guitar. I don't know if you guys know about that. You know, the same principles apply.